Hi, I'm Stacy Pingree, founder of Radiant Financial Group and the Legacy Wealth Podcast. Today, we have a guest that is not just selling real estate. He is selling or is building a really incredible, bold, faith-filled legacy. I'm so excited to welcome our guest today, Josh Zuniga. He's going to talk a lot about how he aligns his inner core, I guess, with faith. For these outward results, because I think that's really at the core of who you are. You know, to know you is to know that, I feel.
Yes, absolutely.
So I am so happy to have you here. Thank you.
So happy to be here, Stacy. Thank you
Yes.
for having us. I know you reached out to me just not too long ago, and I've been super excited, a little bit nervous even, to be honest. It's been a while since I've been on my own podcast yet, that's somebody else's podcast. So thank you for having me. It's such a blessing to be here.
Yes, of course, of course. I mean, with that, Josh, your story this last year especially, I mean, you've got an amazing legacy already, really.
Yeah.
The family that you've built, the man that you are, and I would just love for you to tell a little bit about yourself. I could sit and give an overview, but it just won't do it justice the way you tell your story. So please tell us a little bit about you and your wife and your business. And
So give you a little bit of background, starting on the business side. So my parents are the ones that actually got us all involved in real estate 30 years ago. Pete and Delia Zuniga, they are the owners of Advantage Plus Credit Reporting. So growing up, I saw my parents actually starting their own business and actually running it kind of like a husband and wife team. And I thought that was beautiful. It was awesome. It's been like they've been my best role models, coaches, leaders that I can ever imagine it in all fashions, right? Not only from being wonderful parents and business owners, but also being leaders of their faith and helping others. And that's a lot about like what I'll talk about, how my inner spirituality has developed, over time as well. Yeah. So growing up with, I guess you say, that model, I've always had a great aspiration to do bigger and bigger things, not only within my personal life, but also within my spiritual life as well. Fast forward, I went to ASU, got my degree from W.P. Carey. I did corporate world for a couple of years. The same year I graduated from college is the same year that I actually got my real estate license in 2013. And walking into corporate, I knew my first day was going to be my last day. Yeah, I just knew it was going to be cool. It was going to be fun. My girlfriend at the time, she was actually in accounting, and she was doing all these internships and externships. I was like, that sounds fun. Yeah. So I actually did get like a sales and marketing job with an insurance and surety company based out of Chicago, and I was their territory manager for the Southwest for 2 years. And the first year was great. It was super cool because you got to go on all these trips, and you got to drive and see all these different cities. You stay in all the cool hotels, get the meals paid for.
It seems so glamorous.
You get the car allowance, right? And then it came down to like the numbers, and I'm figuring out, I was like, wow, my manager actually has all the big accounts, and I'm over here getting the scraps, and this is not the cash I want to be making, right? And I knew coming into my second year, I was like, you know what? I need to take a chance on myself. And I need to go full-time in real estate. And I actually met with another real estate agent, top producer. Not going to name his name, but he painted the picture for me of what I could actually do, and I thought it was great and it was wonderful. Fast forward into that, didn't work out.
Yeah.
For good reasons. Okay. For good reasons. And there was a point in time where my dad, he was a big mentor of mine, because when I got into real estate, I was 25 years old. So I was thinking I had to always dress up like this. I normally don't wear suit jackets, just letting you know, guys. It's like, one, it's 110 out, right? So it's hot.
Yeah.
And it's just like not my vibe anymore, but I just was feeling excited to wear a jacket today. It's my new favorite jacket. It's actually my dad's.
Looks good.
Thank you, Dad. Appreciate it.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it is. It's really
good
cool.
color on you. Very good.
Appreciate it. Yeah. And I was thinking that I had to use leverage of everybody else's team and their experience in order for me to like really stand out and actually have the ability to help somebody with the largest financial transaction of their actual life, right? And my dad sat me down and he said it very candidly. He's like, son, you're promoting everybody but yourself.
Man, I love that.
And I was like, do you realize that? And I'm like, that one hurt. He's like, yeah. He's like, you need to start talking about why you are the person that needs to help them, not the team that you're with, not the brokerage that you're with. They want to use you. Invest in you. And I took that very to heart, because my first year in real estate, I closed one transaction. As many other real estate agents probably have experienced. Yes. One transaction. Well, if you take a little bit step back from that, leaving my corporate job, I also started a company called LVLF, which was a t-shirt company. And the t-shirt company was to be a beautiful message, kind of like the brand Life is Good. But I was sharing the message that life is a gift. And LVLF standing for Live Life and Love Life. And I'll get back to you why that actually inspired me here in a second too. I had that going, and I was actually going through a lawsuit with it because there was a company that actually was trying to say that my trademark was causing confusion in the marketplace. And I said, no, I'm going to fight it. This is my dream. This is my mission. God gave me a purpose to actually, do good in this world. And I want to make everybody a walking billboard of love, happiness, and positivity.
Right.
So I was fighting that. $20,000 in debt, left my corporate job, tapped into all my little 401ks that I had, even the 401k I had from T-Mobile when I was younger in my 20s. I was like, and it finally hit. I wasn't closing any deals, and I had to have that huge conversation with mom and dad, or actually they brought me down to the table and said, hey, son, I know you're not, I think you're being prideful right now. You're not telling us what's really going on. You need to tell us what's going on. And I finally just laid it out, and we had a good conversation and discussion, and I decided to move back into the house at 25. And that first transaction was actually a referral from one of their employees. It happened to be their parents. I gave them the money back just because I was like, hey, I'm living with you guys, and I appreciate you taking care of some of the bills. Right?
Oh my gosh.
But outside of that, I think it was one of my breaking and breakthrough points where I had to really have a conversation with myself, in December going into 2016. And I'll never forget it. There was one point in time, I used to always read in the evenings. And this evening, I happened to go for a walk, just needed to clear my head. I didn't like, being in my parents' house because I just felt so little, so small. I was like, I have all this potential, and here I am, below zero at this point. How did I get here?
Yeah.
How did I get myself into this mess, right? I went on this walk, and it just happened to start raining, right? But with that rain came tears. And I just sat on the curb, and I had a big conversation with myself. I was like, Josh, you got yourself in this situation. You have every ability to get yourself out. Commit yourself to a year to this business and see what you have. If anything else fails, you can go back to corporate world. There's no issue with that, but commit to 1 year. Well, that year we absolutely crushed it. We did, I think, 25 plus deals, year one. And I joined a team that was actually giving me the inspiration, which is Joshua Smith. I owe a lot of credit to him. He's the one that told me how to actually build my business that's actually sustainable through the power of social media.
Wow.
He had the same, he had said an exact line. He's like, Josh, social media is where the game is. It's where it's headed. It's where it's going to stay. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be known, or do you want to be lost? Do you want to be a ghost? He's like, start doing video. And I've built my business, and I've done extremely well over the last 10 years, primarily on social media, through education, through the power of education, right? Which has been a beautiful thing. And even now to the point where I had my own podcast, and now we're doing YouTube channels, and now we're helping other people with their social media and doing all kinds of wonderful things, right?
Coming on this show as a guest so you can educate
absolutely.
people.
Yes,
Education
absolutely.
is empowerment. It creates trust. I mean, we talked about that. It's such a huge factor on social media to be delivering, right? I mean, deliver education.
But going back to one of your questions or one of your statements about me is where did all this inspiration and all this guidance and this higher power really come from? Well, it has to come with, from my faith. I've always been a strong believer in Christ, and I know that I can do all things through him. And, it's almost like having another parent, tapping you on the back and giving you and being your coach and your mentor, while you're going through life. And I always give grace and appreciation and gratitude, to, who I feel is our creator, because through him and through the power of prayer, amazing things can happen. Miracles can happen. The belief that you didn't believe that you actually had in yourself can actually turn into fruition. And I've really leaned, on Christ and God, especially over the last, year with all the miracles that we'll talk about, here with my wife and with my kids and, all those wonderful things, because he does create miracles and he's here for you. And if you're listening to this podcast and you think that, is, God really for me? Is church really for me? Or is religion really for me? All I ask is that you just listen to the voice that's talking to you, lean in, go with somebody, join, just see a little church group, go to a service, go church shopping is what I used to do. I actually used to be Catholic. And then I felt like I wasn't really building a relationship with Christ. So I started going to Christian churches, and I was like, this is weird. You have like a rock concert in the beginning of your service. I'm like, didn't understand it. Like and it's very ritualistic and traditional when you go to Catholic, mass, because you have like the Eucharist, you're up, down, all the things. But, my church now is CCV, and I used to listen to Don Wilson all the time. And it was beautiful because I think when you're younger, you understand God. And you understand kind of like what the concept of like faith and like religion is. And like, this is how we be a good person. And we have to do all these things to get in heaven. Okay, that makes sense. But we don't really feel Christ or feel the Holy Spirit or actually have our personal experiences with him until we actually get out into the real world where we're actually tested. And then we can actually see if it's tried and true. And I felt him like 100%. He was putting some things on my heart. And that also happens to be when at the age of 19, when I had like a spiritual awakening, if you will. If some of you aren't aware of what that is, I'm still trying to understand it myself, but it's like you get a instant download that you like, boom, somebody just like dropped something into your brain, into your heart, into your actual being that wasn't there before. And I really understood that I woke up a different person one day. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what to say. It wasn't like, some people have these moments, through like death or like tragedy or an accident that really happens. God just like gave me an absolute dump of information on actually how to see this world, how to live through love, how to live through his image, how to actually understand his message, how to see the beauty in every place, everything, everyone, every conversation, every single moment. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is wild. This is beautiful. And it's overwhelming and it's scary. I was so emotional to the point that I was crying listening to the radio. I was crying listening to commercials. Like it was getting, I was like, man, I'm getting like very emotional right now. And this is getting a little funky here. But it cracked me open. It really opened up my heart in a big way. And not just to like myself and to my family, but to the world. Yeah. And this kind of like goes back to like, God gave me a way to see the world. And I used to pray and I used to write in my journal every single day. It's like, God, give me an effective way to communicate this to the world. Allow my message to transpire into the ears that need to hear this. And it needs to seep into the hearts that those that need it as well. Yeah. And there was one point in time with my ex-girlfriend where she was asking me questions and I fell in love with her because she really appreciated me. She was the first person I could actually really talk about like what my experience with Christ was with. And there was one point where I was just talking with her and like an hour went by and it felt like I blacked out, like literally, I'm not even kidding. I'm like, and I lost my breath and everything. And I'm like, and I just started crying and I'm like, and she's like, what happened? Like, did I do something? Did I say something? And I'm like, no. God just answered my prayer. He's like, what prayer? He shows me that I need to speak up. I need to talk more about him. And I need to use the power of my voice to share his love and to share his message. And he just did that and showed me that I have the power and I have the capability to do that, through who I am as an individual. I'm a messenger. Yeah. I'm one of his messengers. And he doesn't give me the gift of communication for no specific reason. Yeah. It's a duty. I need to use it.
Well, and in order to get people to be attracted to it that are, if someone is of faith, right, they're just naturally like, yes, I mean, I believe, I feel, I understand what you're talking about and I believe, but I think, to deliver that out, how do you message without that being it can be the message, but you do an amazing job of integrating that with like the legacy that you, again, to educate and the legacy of being, improving people from the inside to the outside and how they perform based on who they are and who they believe, how they believe in themselves. Yes. Mindset is a big thing for you. I know this.
Absolutely.
And you said positivity.
Of course.
Talk to me about that because I feel too like you're just, I've never seen you not smiling. I mean, of course, I'm not like
who wants to frown all day?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, positivity and mindset. I mean, that's got to be, I don't know, maybe just a sense of again part of your faith. When you have nothing to worry about, you have nothing to worry about, right?
I mean, I think that is definitely a part of it. When you fully accept Christ and you know that you are doing God's work here on earth, I think I'll put it easy. I'm okay with death. That's the easiest way to putting it, because I know what's going to be on the other side and it's going to be okay. If everything stopped now, today, I know that I've done my work and I've done my time and everything's going to be okay. I know where I'm going, and it's going to be a very happy, beautiful place. And I'm going to look over everybody and look over everybody with a smile. When you finally have that understanding, I think you become more at peace as a person, and you become more at peace as an individual, and you can also share that peace. And then when you're looking at somebody like that's going through a hard time, and you inside kind of chuckle and be like, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I know that you're struggling with it. That's just life. That happens to everybody. You're not any different. I guarantee you that somebody's going through a harder time right now. Let's talk about it. And then let's figure out a plan of how we can get through that. Right. But definitely, it is a lot harder for a lot of people. But I think being positive doesn't just come naturally. There's training that's involved.
Yeah.
Right. Your set and setting, your atmosphere, your people you surround yourself with, the words that you put within your own brain, and your self-talk that you have to have. You have to constantly be battling, especially with social media and people that are coming out all these days, and protect your energy.
Yeah.
And this is like your temple. You really have to understand, what is going to be the input, because the input is going to be the direct output of how you're going to be living your life. So you know that you have to change some things or restructure some things, as far as who you are as an individual or what your surroundings are, you need to start making those changes today, whether they're big or whether they're incremental. Start making those changes, because, living a positive, beautiful, happy life is very important, for your sanity.
Yes.
And I want to see that for everybody. There's no point in, going around and, just, being sad all day. I know everybody goes through tough times. I know everybody goes through hard situations, but it's also a point if you decide to stay there, right? What are you going to do with your time, with your God-given talents and abilities, and, with your actions, because your actions say a lot about you. Everybody can, cry and moan about what their situation is, but the individual that actually does something about it, that's the one that creates change.
Well, and don't you feel too, though, I know for my team, I'll say sometimes like the hardest time we've been in the mortgage industry now for like the last couple of years have been challenging, right? I mean, it's been a challenge to see rates so high, and I'm just getting back to like basic day-to-day business. But it's like, I say to them, don't worry, riding out the storm and going through the challenges, and then other things come up, right? Their life happens and they got problems at home, or they got, financial stress causes a lot of, we're at like a 50% divorce rate. So
Absolutely,
it's, this has basically been financial driven, most of the time. So when people are in those, but I think the mentality, what I'm getting at is like, sometimes you're going through those challenges for a reason. The growth is on the other side.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So that's a big one too. It sounds like,
Yes.
so you had this growth moment at 2016. It sounds like you had it again in like 2019.
Yeah.
So I mean,
things are really happening, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I think God really comes, I always relate things back to him. He comes at the right times, especially for me. And, even when you're going through a struggle, if you will, like, all right, what are the lessons I need to learn? And God's usually pushing you in the direction where you need to grow. Yep. And where you need to find a different version of yourself in order to evolve to the next person and to the next blessings and opportunities that he has for you on the other side. Whether you're going through a financial struggle now, all right, if you're going through a financial struggle, what can I do to offset that? How can I grow as an individual? How can I become more valuable? How can I, make myself, more known to the public? All of these things are going to get options and create creativity within your mind to open it up, to get you to think. God just wants you to think. He doesn't just give you the answers. Right? It's what a coach does. He asks you questions.
Work out the problem.
Exactly. Every good salesman asks you the questions so you can figure it out within your own mind, and makes you think that, oh, I figured this out and I can do this. Now you just take the steps to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I would lie to you if I would say my business has not been affected, by this year. But I also know agents that have had their best years in the last 2 years, which I'm super proud of them.
Yeah.
Right. And what I've been doing now is just like restructuring things too, and like knowing that it's going to, set a new platform for what I'm trying to create for my new way we're going to be structuring our business, and for our teams, and for the legacy of wealth that we're trying to do for our clients, which I've actually had the ability to do for myself. And now we're going to help, other families do it as well, which is really exciting.
I love it. That's my passion. I mean, we're here on the Legacy Wealth podcast, right? So we can talk, and the big takeaway that I try to leave with every single show and through the guest story is that that's why we're here. We're not leaving a legacy behind when we're gone. We
Yeah.
want to leave it within right now. And you embody that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I said, I was so excited to have you as a guest, because to me, you just really, I mean, it's in every message you put out. I mean, it just, you have an aura glowing around you that is,
thank you.
about positivity and this legacy that this strength that you're leaving within people. And I really respect and appreciate that. You're magnetic.
Appreciate you. Thank
So, and I think your brand is too. And so tell me a little bit about, so now I know you've transitioned. I really want to hear about EXP, what you're doing right now with your wife. Cause
my wife.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
I can talk all day about Sabri.
Sabri could be here on her own show. I don't know her well yet enough, so
yes.
I'm gonna reach out to her, and she'll be on the next.
Yes.
on her own.
I'd love to give her a little highlight if that's okay.
Please,
right now, right?
I would love to.
Sabri's been the best gift that God's ever given me.
You're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, I could cry too about it. I've been 100% honest about that. She has developed me into the man that I knew that I never knew that I could actually be. And I actually pushed her away in the beginning because I was scared of her, because I knew that, potentially this could turn into something when I wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. We actually met when I was 27 years old, and I was on my come up. Business is going great.
Oh, yeah.
I just got a relationship a couple years ago. I was kind of like in the single life, doing the thing, doing the travels, meeting a lot of people. And then here comes like Sabri, and I'm like, no, I'm not looking for a relationship. Long story short of it, I hate to say this, but she hung in there. And I had a conversation with God about her, and he said that you're going to marry her. And I didn't know how to really take that, especially at that time. I didn't really know what that was. But and that's why I was so resistant to it, because I was scared. It's like, I'm 28 years old. I don't even plan on being married till I'm like 35, and then maybe even think about having kids. But God's plan was way better.
Yep.
Right? A little bit of background on Sabri is like she actually does have 2 children, and my son Tristan and Sky. Those are the names I call them my kids. Because I've helped raise them for like probably the last 5 or 6 years, and they are absolutely amazing. And I knew that Sabri was going to be a package deal. When I'm also gonna marry her, but I'm also marrying into the children as well. Mm-hmm. And when we first moved in together, before we were actually married, this was like me actually taking on my first role as being a dad, and really understanding. And it was a big learning curve for me. I had to understand, am I ready for this responsibility?
Big time.
Yeah. Am I ready for it? And it's not just coming from little babies. They're already adults or I'm not saying adults. They're already children with their own personalities, everything. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be okay with it? And, after I think we finally figured out our flow, after 6 months, I knew this was something truly beautiful that I wanted to stick with and I wanted to stay within. So I had a conversation with their dad, their other dad. And I let him know that, hey, I want to be a bigger part of your kid's life. And I want to know, what is the best ways to actually raise these children with Sabri, because I'm going to be with Sabri for a long time, and you and I are going to be family.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So after we had that big discussion,
he was receptive, I take it.
Yeah. I asked him a couple of times to have it. I don't think he was ready, which is totally fine. He wasn't going to have pressure on that. But in 2022, he said, hey, let's get that coffee. And this is the biggest thing. And if you, and I'm going to say this to men, if you're looking to step into a stepdad role, have the conversation with the father. Yeah. Right? Because those are his kids. That's his world. And it's just, I'm gonna say it nicely. It's just weird, and it makes people feel insecure when another man comes into your child's life, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whatever. It's just a little different. So to have that conversation, and the first thing that I told to him is that I'm not here to replace you. Yeah. And I just saw his complete demeanor just change. I'm not here to replace you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you raise these kids in the way that you want them to be raised. And I'm here to do the best to mentor them, to be a dad to them, to coach them, and to, make them wonderful human beings in this world. When you have that conversation and you realize that you guys are a team and there's not competition here, then everything's great.
And guess what? The kids win.
Exactly. The kids win. And that's really what it is about the kids. Do you want us as parents to go through some BS, and the kids are going to feel it? Why do you always get angry when you drop me off? No, we're bigger than that. Yep. Right? So when we had that conversation, I asked Sabri to marry me. We got married last year. In 2023. I always mixing up the dates. Yeah. And that was absolutely beautiful. And my life has been, fantastic ever since, but God has given us challenges, right? And to be honest with you, when my stepkids are so amazing that I never even thought about having my own.
That's really cool too.
But here we are now because now we have twins, and I'll tell you this story. Going into a year of living with Tristan and Sky, I so badly, naturally just wanted them to call me dad.
I get it.
Yeah.
I know you were showing up in that way too.
Yeah. I still pray about it. But I never wanted to take that away from, the real dad.
Yeah.
Right? So having that feeling and having that emotion, I feel like there was something missing.
Yeah.
And I finally approached Sabri in the summer of 2023 after we got married, and I told her what I was feeling. And I wanted to have a kid. I want to have a child. One at the time. One at the time. And she says, absolutely, let's do it. And I was given the biggest blessing. God gave us twins. He gave us two babies. He gave us two babies.
That every single day.
He gave us two babies.
Oh my gosh.
Elena and Rosalie. I call them Lainey and Rosie. They're my absolute world. They just turned 11 months. They'll be a year here on September 13th. All this would have never been done if it wasn't for Sabri. For her not giving up on me.
Yeah.
And the reason I fell in love with her is because she was the first person that I felt like truly appreciated me. And I never felt that before. Like actually loved me for me. And what I mean by that, and I'm going to go back to like my parents as far as being my biggest mentors and coaches, even in relationships. My dad told me a story that he asked my mom a very specific question. He asked her, I don't know exactly at what point, in their marriage or maybe before they were married, but he asked her, "Hun, if we start with nothing and we end with nothing, are you with me?"
That's an awesome question.
Are you with
Yeah.
me? And she said, yes. I never forgot that story. He's like, son, when you find yourself a woman that can say that to you and you believe it and you look at her in the eyes and you can feel it within her heart, that's the woman you need to be with, because you need to do the same for her as well. And that's the first time I actually felt that, with a woman, with another person, was with Sabri. She loved me for me, and I know that, it doesn't matter where we're at, I made her happy and she made me happy.
Yep.
Right? And yeah, we've had an amazing journey. We really, really have. And we've never had a fight. All right.
What?
Yeah. We've never had a fight. We have discussions, is what I like to say.
Do they get?
None of them are heated.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is because we set expectations, early on in our relationship. And I told her about that. I was like, there's no need for us to get in a fight. There's no need for us to cuss. There's no need for us to go to bed, mad or upset about with each other. If you have an issue, you bring it up to me. You don't bring it up to your mom, your best friend, your coworker, your sister, the person you saw at Starbucks. You bring it up to me first. It doesn't need to fester for 3 days, and then you finally get all hot and bothered, and then you explode on me, right? That's not fair to me, right? Because usually when we have those, discussions, we can handle within 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can be at peace, and then we move on.
Yep.
Right? And I do the same for her. So when we set that expectation and it really opens up the platform for our communication, it served our relationship, extremely well. Because I let her know that no matter what it is, I'm going to listen. And I'm not going to discount what you said. I'm never going to make you feel stupid. You have these feelings and emotions and thoughts for a very specific reason. I need to be a better husband, or I need to be a good husband or a good boyfriend or fiance at the time, and listen and understand where they're coming from. Even if I don't agree, they're still your feelings and emotions, and I can't discount it.
Yeah.
And
That's how you're going to grow.
Exactly. And I need to be there for you. right?
Yeah.
But you know,
See, we have a different strategy. We go fight hard and fast and make up hard and fast. So we just,
Yeah.
our fights don't last longer than we get, both of us have that personality where we'll drive up to the pinnacle,
Yeah.
but it's super quick. We try to do it in private. This doesn't
Yeah.
always
It's
happen.
like, let's go outside.
Yeah, let's go outside. And it gets done, but it gets done fast. As soon as we're done, we are like, it's over. And I think, I don't know, it works for us.
Okay, cool. Just all right. Let's give me a hug, give me a kiss.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get a glass of wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go down to the bar.
Go down to the bar and
get a glass of wine.
You got
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, you got it.
But going back to like, you know, some of the challenges that God's puts in our way, you know, the pregnancy went amazing.
Yeah.
They were born just a few weeks, you know, early, but you know, they were in the NICU for 3 weeks and everything is beautiful. They're doing great. But we noticed that something was definitely wrong after Sabri delivered, you know, the babies. When we came home, you know, she had a C-section, which is, I had no idea was that brutal on your body.
Oh yeah.
It like really is hard on a woman's body, and tearing you open. Like I had to like bathe her and do all kinds of help in the bathroom. Like she was taking baby steps, all kinds of things. When we finally got home, we're noticing that she didn't lose any weight. Not like in a bad way, but like she just had 2 babies, 2 like placentas, all the things, all the fluid. And I was like, that's actually really weird. And then by Tuesday, we noticed that she was having that edema where you can actually press in and like see the fluid, you know, in her, just on her skin.
Yeah.
And I was out with a couple of friends, you know, just happened to be, you know, the Wednesday, which was probably like 5 days after the babies were born. And she's like, she calls me, she's like, honey, I'm having a hard time breathing. I'm having shortness of breath. Like something doesn't feel right. Like I think I need to go to the emergency room. And I learned, you know, just through, you know, trying to be a good husband through pregnancy, like you don't mess around, you know, with that. Like go to the hospital, I'll meet you there. We went to Arrowhead Hospital. They ran some tests and scans. I'm going to say this publicly. I wouldn't go there for the emergency room ever again. You know, just put it nicely that way. But on Friday, I was at my son's flag football game. She was at home and her mom called me. She's like, Josh, Sabri just turned white. You know, she looks like she's having a hard time breathing again. I don't feel right about this. I think we need to take her to the hospital. I was like, take her there. We'll meet you there. Took her to Honor Health just off of the I-17 in Dove Valley. And they were doing some scans on her. And this is where we kind of find out like where we're going to lead to. We found out that she had an enlarged right side of her heart. You're like, wow, that's weird. It doesn't sound good, you know, what all. But they also gave her Lasix, and she literally lost like 20 pounds of fluid in 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
And then they had like a cardiologist come in. We're doing like all kinds of EKG scans, you know, echocardiograms, all the things to try and figure out like what was causing, you know, the enlargement of the heart. They couldn't figure it out after 2 days, you know, we went back, and we got talked to our primary, and we got, you know, recommended to a cardiologist. The cardiologist came to us. She's like, I think I know what it is, but I don't want to give you a diagnosis because I can't guarantee it until we get a very specific MRI, right? And this MRI was only available at Banner University and Mayo Clinic. And if you try and get into them, you're on a waiting list.
Oh yeah.
And they told us, oh, we can get you in at the end of November. And we're in September right now. I'm like,
We're not going to make
I
it.
was like, are you kidding me? Like
Yeah.
my wife's, you know, there's something wrong with my wife's heart. Like we don't have 2 months. We need to go now. But you know, during that time, we also had way more, you know, hospital visits just because of like what she was feeling. It's just super scary. And we just want to make sure that, you know, nothing was wrong to where, you know, she needed to like, you know, have emergency open heart surgery or whatever. Through the grace of God and like so many other miracles. And I want to publicly say this now because we actually did post it on social media about what Sabri was going through. All of those prayers, you know, that we received, you know, even from people that we didn't know, out of state, out of country, you know, through social media. Sabri and I are truly grateful for you, and we'll never forget it. Those prayers meant everything. Because as we really leaned on God, and we really leaned on our faith, you know, at this point in time, you know, to really help us through this and to give us guidance and to give us answers and to create miracles for us. Well, one of those miracles is that we got a phone call, there was cancellation, and we were able to get into that MRI, you know, a lot faster. And that's where we found out she had an ASD. And an ASD is essentially just a hole in your heart. So she had what they found was a nickel-sized hole in your heart, which I had no idea your heart could even operate with a hole. And I had a buddy that had a heart attack, and he operates with, 40% of his heart. I'm like, wow, the body is just fascinating and so
Yeah,
amazing.
incredible.
And that's how God designed it, right?
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
resilient.
yeah.
So the blood would actually flow and go into the right side of her heart, but she's had this since she was, a baby, essentially. A lot of people actually walk around, with ASDs or holes in their heart, so they don't even know it. So if you do experiencing, stuff like that, tightness in the chest, shortness of breath, just for your own peace and for your own sanity, go get it checked out. Yeah, I wouldn't want to wait, because once we finally had that scan, we actually had to go see a different cardiologist to do a surgery, and we tried to go to all different alternative methods, and they weren't going to be an option for her. And this is actually kind of like where it like really hit home for me, because the surgeon told me, you know what, Sabri, you're already a walking miracle. There's no reason why you shouldn't have had right heart failure, a heart attack, or a stroke.
Wow.
And I'm like, are you serious? Like, that could have happened even like during pregnancy or while she was delivering or something like that. I'm like, holy smokes.
There's a lot of stress in your body for carrying
holy
twins.
smokes. Yeah. And I did that. That information hit me even harder the next day. I was literally doing dishes in the kitchen, and I just lost it. I just absolutely just lost it in the kitchen, and I just started bawling. I could have lost my wife.
Yeah.
I just got married, just had twins, and she couldn't be here right now. But by, the grace of God, she is. And, we found a solution, and we're going to get it taken care of.
Yeah.
So on December 10th, she had open heart surgery, and she's never had surgery before. And I felt so bad because I've had a couple of them. It's actually like, oh, it's really great, honey. You're just going to go out, wake up, and here you are. So she's so strong. She's so strong and stronger than me. And, it was super tough to see her like very emotional about going under surgery, and not just any surgery.
Two fresh babies. I mean, the babies are only 3.5
Correct.
months old.
Yeah.
That's got to be such a stressful. I mean, mother instinct is so crazy at that point anyway.
Oh, I know. Yeah. You start spiraling.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a mom, like, am I going to wake up?
Yeah.
It's like the biggest one. Am I going to wake up? And if I do, is everything going to be okay?
Yeah.
Cause you have to take care of the kids, and it's not just 2, we have 4. Went from 0 to 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Real quick. But thankfully, we had one of the best surgeons in the West Coast. He's actually top 3. And one of Sabri's clients actually had her heart surgery with him like 20 years ago.
Oh.
And she's still around, so he's doing a good job. He's doing a good job.
Stuff lasts. Yeah, exactly.
So fast forward, Sabri's recovery has been absolutely fantastic. It's actually a very hard recovery for that first week. I don't even know how like she did it, but it was great. And we just did a recent bubble test to make sure that, the hole that they actually patched, it was actually the size of a quarter, we found out during surgery now, not even just a nickel, a quarter. So if you can imagine.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, you just put your fist and then a quarter next to it. It's a pretty decent size.
Yeah.
But she's all good. Everything looks great. And then we're just going to keep running checkups every 6 months, and we're going to continue to move on our way. And now we're actually running a husband and wife team in real estate now. We're getting acclimated with all that. So yeah, things have been wonderful.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. I ran, Jason and I built our businesses together, real estate and mortgage, but, so many years ago. But what are the challenges with that so far? Has it been, well, you don't fight. This is going to be really interesting.
Oh yeah, so we've gotten close. I'll say we've gotten close.
Yeah.
Because Sabri, she joined a resale back in, I told her, I was like, hey honey, like quit what you're doing, come do resale with me in 2022. And she probably had like 10 deals lined up, and then boom, June hit, and rates started just spiking and spiking and spiking. So those 10 turned into like 3.
Yeah.
And I pulled her away from making income to no income. So, coming into the next year, she's like, I want to try new builds. She did this all on her own. I was finding it out. She's like, hey, I'm applying to builders. I'm like, really? That's awesome. Let me know what happens. She actually got 3 offers, and she decided to go with D.R. Horton because she actually has friends there.
Okay.
Which it's, when you go to a new institution like that, it's always good to at least know somebody.
Sure. Kind
of show you the ropes, be a little bit of family, be a little bit of support. And she did great. She did absolutely fantastic. But, so we're so thankful for D.R. Horton. But now that we have 4 kids and twins, the schedule constraints are just absolutely not going to win.
Yeah. Commitment to be out in the offices.
Yeah. You're working 9 to 5 and you have like a Tuesday, Wednesday off. It's just not conducive for, what we are experiencing or how we want to raise our family.
Yeah.
So during the time Sabri was, going through her heart surgery, we actually had her mom help us for like 6 weeks. And then we actually offered her a full-time position. So now her mom is our nanny, which is awesome. Fantastic, which is great. They get to hang out with grandma all day, and it just makes us feel so much more at peace that there's a family member there that really loves them, cares about them, goes the extra mile and help raising them. So it allows us to do like the husband and wife, team thing, which always has its challenges, right? Because I learned this when we were first, running my team years ago. The way I say something to you, to me, is the way I say something to you, and I say it to everybody. But I guess it's the tone when women get upset about. She's like, why are you speaking to me like that? I say, it's the same way I speak to Megan. Like, what do you mean? It's like, no, you're saying it to me differently. I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. So we had to figure out what is the right way, to train and educate her, because there's a huge curve coming from new builds to resale. It's a whole new world, just like from like residential to commercial. Okay. And we're just patient with it. I still do a lot of the heavy lifting, but she is a networker like crazy. Like, her network is fantastic, and she has a huge passion for single moms. So we're going to teach moms how to like invest as well, because I think I can agree, like, I think the investing conversation was like heavily on the male side, and we want to switch that up.
Oh yeah.
We want to empower, other women, showing them how we've invested, how she's done it, as well, through me as a team or as a couple, and how we can empower, other moms out there to do the same, because she was a single mom for years and she didn't know she had access to all of this information or access to these processes, or even just the education on actually how to do it. Mm-hmm. And we think that's super important, not only for single moms, but for families, for individuals, because, it's not about us. Why we work so hard is for, our kids, for our family, for our legacy, and what we're going to pass on. It's not even just passing on, but how are we also going to teach our next generation how to sustain this and also build upon it. And then you can go even deeper and like, how do we train them to be trustees, and how do we build these estates, and how do we pass on to the real estate, and all kinds of wonderful things.
And what if they don't want to do real estate, but how do you use real estate as a tool to do other things, to leverage? Yes. I love every bit of that so much. And I didn't realize that Sabri and I were going to become best friends, but we are.
Yes.
You're talking about your kids. I got a question for you on social media.
Yeah.
You put yourself out there in social media a lot, and you are as open and honest as you were here today. That's why I again, when you walk in, I feel like I know you. I know Sabri. I've never met her. I feel like I know her, and I know you guys together. And it really works in how you, like I said, it's magnetic. You're doing beautiful things. But how do you feel about social media with your kids? Like, at what point do you say? I mean, there's also a lot of information that's not as beautiful as what you put out there, and I'm not even. Just in general, love to hear your answer to that.
Well, I think I can answer that in two parts. One, am I okay with like sharing my kids on social media? To me, yes. I don't want to live in fear.
Yeah, right.
All right. Am I mindful about what they are watching and what they are consuming? 1,000%. Because I know there's a lot of junk and a lot of trash and a lot of BS, and I can see it, just through my daughter Sky. How she's influenced on like what to wear. She literally would buy everything at Sephora if she had the opportunity. Yep. And that comes through like TikTok and YouTube and all these things. They're easily influenced by just repetition, right? We are the same way. I'll be the first to admit it. I've been addicted to social media numerous times. Last year, I fell into a freaking rabbit hole. And even the year before that, with everything that's going on with the elections and, the presidential race and, there's just so many things coming at us. Like, we're going to have a blackout, and, the world's going to turn. We're going to have a black swan event. The market's going to crash, commercial's going to crash. Like all the things, like you can really get yourself wrapped up into it. And the reason as a man I get wrapped into it is because I have to be prepared. You're like, all right, if some stuff does go down, I need to be prepared, and I know I got to know what to do. How am I going to protect my family? How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to pivot? Where are we going to go? Do we have a bug out vehicle? Yeah. Do we have a cabin we can go up? Yeah. I start buying guns, all the things, right? Like all the things, right? It can get wild. It can get really, really wild. And I don't want my kids to live in stress and anxiety with that. So we are super mindful about, what they are watching, and we have parental restrictions on it, and we try and see like even their messages. I don't care. I'm going to see who you're texting, what you're texting, and where things are going, or else you lose the privilege, right? Having a phone is a privilege. Yep. It's not a given right. You have to earn this right? And these are the rules, hands down. Like for us, they have no phones when they come home after school. It's usually now is because they need it, because hey, we're here, we need to contact you for sports, whatever. And if you don't do your chores throughout the week, you get no electronics on the weekend. So you have to earn that right, for things. And I know that's a sticky subject for, like for a lot of parents. Everybody does it different, but I think, us as adults, we need to be protective and be the keepers, of our children. And how they're actually being, trained, with their mentality and their beliefs, because you were talking about, positive mindset, right? They can either be consuming positive things or negative things that are going to hurt them subconsciously within their future. And they have no idea even what they're doing. And they're actually hurting themselves, which is kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary that it's developing brain and they don't know how to gauge right from wrong. It goes back to integrating faith into your home, into your faith and self-belief and confidence and values, because I think then they know how to gauge what they're looking at, but it's scary. It's a scary time. I have a daughter going to college right now, which, is, so your tears, I mean, trust me, I'm in a very fragile state right now of just, anything can set me into a absolute downward spiral of tears. But I'm also very proud at the same time of the woman that she has become and that she's going to become, and I'm going to watch her become, because she's got to get head on her shoulders, and she's done, she just isn't susceptible to a lot of it. But we all are. We all are susceptible to it. It's just that she catches herself too, and I love seeing that. So the kids learn that from you. Okay, we're not going down those rabbit holes. We're going to stay in the positive space.
Well, I think it's very important for us as parents to at least have the conversations, not just to say no, but to tell them, why we're going to, hold ourselves back from actually this type of information that we're putting the inputs for. Because just saying no, we just learned about then as a child, the brain is it's very easy to influence. And when you hear no as a child, it's like rejection. Right. It's like we should just steer that energy in a different way, rather than just saying no and actually having a discussion about that. So I learned that very early on before I even decided to step into that, parent role for Tristan and Sky. It's like, I need to learn about kids. I need to learn,
read some books quick.
I need to learn how to talk to them, right? So if I need to figure out, I'm not going to be like the, hey, kind of dad. I don't ever want to yell at him. I don't ever have to hit him, but I figured out a way. There's definitely a way to communicate to him to where I can still show my authority, to where I only have to ask once. And, I figured that out, which is really awesome.
Discipline with direction and all
exactly.
that. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So I know you have so many things planned and in the next phase, but for, knowing that, I really care about legacy in that discussion. What is next for you guys? Tell me what's coming up.
A lot of things. So we just did a big move. So I used to be part owner in Kenneth James Realty. Just some things happened, different points of view and how things, should be, done as business. So I'm no longer a partner there, which is great. Carl and I are still brothers to this day. I don't call him a friend. He is literally a family member. I would take the shirt off my back for that man. That's awesome. I know he would do the same.
Awesome relationship.
And this is one thing that I want to, especially if you're like looking at partnerships, this is one thing that I always say, with every partner. And this is very important before you sign, on any documents. You have to know that you guys are in the right mindset together. And I say, we start as family, we end as family. Money's never going to get in between us. Are we clear? Raise your eyebrows. Saw that. So are we clear? Because if we're doing this for the money, things happen. Markets change, right? We're going to have ups. We're going to have downs. We're going to have peaks. We're going to have valleys. We're going to have profits, right? We're going to have some down months too. We have to know that we're in this together no matter what. And if money is attached too much to your emotions, then it's probably the best that we don't even sign on this paper right now. I'm not going to lose a relationship over a piece of paper.
Mic drop. I'm using it for the next, I have an investor training about partnerships. I do. And I'm using it. I'm going to take this segment, clip it, and say that. Because it is the most critical component, right? I mean, my only partner now, official partner, is my husband, right? I mean, because it just doesn't, that's not true. I have some other, but you know what I mean? I mean, it is very difficult to have a partnership if you are not really clear about your expectations, and you grow and change over time. So even so, I mean, maybe you said like the direction that he was headed, so you could end or part ways amicably. And move.
That's it. As I tell him, I was like, brother, like I tell him straight, I was like, brother, Carl, like, I love you as, a brother of mine and as a human. Like, it's not about the money, dude. It's not about the money. I got into this because I believed in you and I care about you. and I feel like we can build something. We just, now this things are just going differently. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally okay.
Yeah.
But for individuals that, take different routes and start, doing funny things, that's just, it's not cool. It's not cool.
Doing funny things.
Yeah.
Well, I love it.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough. I know one other thing here, we rise by building others, right? You and I have both passionate about one mission. We love that. I mean,
Yes.
I know you were here I know you're a big supporter and contributor. You've been down on builds, and I know you're a
Yes.
big supporter financially to them as well. But you have another an agent edge is coming up.
Yes.
Just touch on that, please.
Yeah. So back to some bigger things that we're doing. We just recently moved to EXP.
Yeah.
So not only Sabre and I are doing our husband and wife team right now, but we're also, having different discussions with agents. And, I always like to be a connector. If I can help an agent, if it's good for you to join, our brokerage, great, wonderful. If not, I definitely have some other recommendations from an amazing brokers that I want you to, also speak with as well. Because I want to make sure that wherever you go, you're happy. Because it's not about me, it's about you, it's about your family, it's about, your legacy that you want to create wherever you decide to hang your license. I just had a conversation with an agent on the way here, and she may not be the right fit for, our brokerage. And that's totally okay. It's not about me. It's about you and the way you want to develop your business. And I think a lot of, brokerages and a lot of team leads, should really structure it that way. Have the conversation, but be open with them. It's like, you know what, I think I have a better place for you to actually hang your license and for you're going to find a home and where you're going to have a better fit. I think this is going to be a good choice for you.
Oh man.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a good feeling to know that you're directing somebody in a way that's just completely centered on them.
Yeah. Which is really cool. And, this is another big thing, because before 2023, I think when you get into entrepreneurship, especially in real estate, money starts, if you're doing it right, money starts pouring in.
Yeah.
And, opportunities start coming left and right. Boom, boom, boom. And that oh, let me put a little money here. Let me put money here. Or let me invest in this business, or let me be a part of this business, or start that. Well, I did that for a number of years. And I finally realized in 2023, my wife called me out on it. She literally said, Josh, what are you doing? Because people are getting confused because you're trying to do everything. And I laughed and I was like, trust me, I know. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. So I found out to start saying no.
Boundaries.
Yep. I started saying no to opportunities and started to execute more and focus even more, for that. A big reason why is because I used to do flips a lot. I used to do 20 plus a year on top of building a real estate business and doing all these other things. I'm also invested in a fintech company. I'm also invested in a real estate, marketing company, and I also invested into a brokerage, and then I have money here and there, Bitcoin, all the kinds of things, right?
Yep.
Eventually you realize that, wow, I'm being pulled from all these sides, and I'm losing focus from the main money driver that's bringing in all the revenue, which is traditional real estate.
Yep.
So I finally said, knock all that off, focus on traditional real estate for 2023 and beyond, which we've done extremely well at. Double down on social media, double down with Sabre, to be the husband-wife team. And now we're structuring business in a way to where we want to create legacy and we want to create wealth for others and show people how we've done it while we accumulate properties, but also showing the benefits of actual real estate. And we're going to create a model, a financial model, and another business around that to where they can come into our fold, and we're going to teach them the process and put them in touch with all of our individuals that are going to help them along the way. And use real estate as the vehicle, because real estate, has the benefits of a number of things. One, if you buy an investment property, you can get cash flow from that property. The tenant can pay down your loan, which is great. You can also get appreciation. So appreciation, historically speaking, every 3 year, you'll see ups and downs in the market, but every 10 years, historically speaking, you'll see ups trajectory. And plus, real estate, somebody's going to still need to lay their head down in the next 30 years in that home. So real estate is not going anywhere, right? It's always going to be doubling. It's always going to be compounding, right? But the biggest one that is really exciting for a lot of investors is actually depreciation. And we're going to have the ability to show how people had to depreciate those assets to actually minimize their tax liability at the end of the year. Because every business owner, or even W-2, has to pay the same Uncle Sam.
Yep.
And sometimes we're not happy to see what that check looks like.
It's the biggest expense we have.
Exactly. Right? It's like, well, I just worked all that time and so hard, and now I got to give a third of it away. Like, why does that even make sense? That doesn't make sense at all. there's got to be a way around this, right? And but you can actually minimize that through the power of real estate. And we're going to talk about how we can do that through cost segregations, which is a big way. And now with, the big beautiful bill, you're bringing back 100%, a bonus depreciation.
Yeah.
So bonus depreciation allows you to write off the main components of the actual home within the years, 5 and 15. You can do that in year 1. And then the rest of it's going to do straight line depreciation over 27 and a half years, because the IRS allows you to do straight line, which is 27 and a half years for the actual property itself. Yeah. And then other things where you can actually find, deals on, the market that are assumable loans. So assumable loan is where you can actually take over an FHA loan or a VA loan if you're a veteran. FHA loan has to be your primary residence. A VA, another veteran can take it, whether you call that a VA swap, or a non-veteran can actually assume that loan.
Yeah.
And this is really key, because these are only the deals that really pencil right now, because you can assume these loans that are in the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, and actually still cash flow. If you're trying to buy a deal right now at 6.5%, it's not going to cash flow. Hands down, you're just not going to make any money. Yeah. The average rent, with even like the West Valley, even the East Valley, is $2,500. Yeah. And your mortgage is, for a loan amount of $400,000 is going to be well over $3,000. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have the loan amount. We pencil it all out, a million times over. It's a 225 loan amount max kind of deal. 220 to 240 to get us, at a cash flow break even. It's tough.
Yeah. Right, so we are creating partnerships to where we can actually bring these deals to the table. This is the house that you're going to buy. Cool. This is how much you're actually going to cash flow. This is potentially what the appreciation can be over a certain number of years. This is how much your loans can be paid down every single year. And this is how much you can actually depreciate this asset, for your taxes. And in addition to that, if you ever decide to sell it, we can talk about how we can 1031 exchanging that to another asset or into another property, whether it's commercial, whether it's land, whether it's residential. I have a lot of clients that have actually upbought, where they started with a single family home. Now they're buying $1 million commercial property after 5 years, because the equity just keeps appreciating. You just get to roll that over, which is super cool. And then we're also talking about, setting up your estate, setting up your trust, setting up your family trust, or setting up a business trust. And there's some really cool structures, within our partner that can even help with taxes even further, probably just get rid of them, in total, if you set it up right. Right.
I love it. So this is like the perfect way to wrap this up, because you just encapsulated the whole thing. I mean, this is legacy.
Yes.
Right there. You just encapsulated it. I love the position you guys are taking. I think that the education up till now, even your education in this business, it's like this is the culmination of everything that you've been about. Yeah. Right. And you've been learning and teaching and growing, and now you are helping others to do it. So I congratulate you guys.
Thank you so much.
On so many things, obviously. Being alive, having new babies and growing your family, and just I'm so excited. I can't wait to get Sabri in here, But I love that. Thank you for sharing all of that today. I think it is perfect way to leave that on legacy.
Yeah. And this is the biggest thing that I always like to say. I realized early on, in my career, that real estate is my profession, but people are my purpose. Right. When you really understand that, I think you really understand why you show up for work, every single day. And I'm so happy that Sabri, we just had a closing yesterday with a client, and they brought us gifts, and they were crying, and it was beautiful for her to fully experience why we do this job and why it makes a difference, to really understand that they came from Serbia, came to the United States, didn't speak the language. They figured out the language. He got a good job. She actually found a job with Chase. I couldn't even get hired at Chase when I was 18 years old.
Our life is easy compared to what's
go through. Yeah. And I'm like, that's just beautiful. They achieved the American dream, coming over here, and within 5 years, they have 2 amazing jobs. They brought their kids. They have grandbabies. Now they just bought their first home. And they were just so appreciative, and she's actually my personal banker now. She started as a teller, now she's my personal banker. Oh my God. And it was so gratifying to see that smile and to know that those tears were pure joy of how far we've come. And that's really why we do it. Outside of, doing real estate. Real estate just has the opportunity to put me in front of more people that I can help. And that's part of God's mission, and that's part of God's message and God's love that's just flowing through me for so many people. And I know Sabri feels the same way. And it's one of the same reasons why we created Agent Edge, which is a course that I started for agents. I know this market is struggling. Yeah. I know a lot of agents are struggling, and those agents also have families. So I want to be able to teach all the agents that everything that I've learned within the last 10 years and bring it into 3 hours, where they can actually just take it, run with it, and then implement it. No fluff, because going in the real estate industry, whether you're an agent or whether you're a lender, your first year is very hard.
It's tough.
And you don't know who to trust and which way to go.
Nope.
So you need direction. And I'll give you the direction. So tomorrow you can start actually taking action and start making money. So many things.
I love it.
I hope this was good,
I
guys.
love it.
I hope
It's
this
so
was good.
great. It's
Thank you
so
so much for
wonderful.
having me.
Yes, thank you so much. It was just awesome. I mean, the little clips I'm going to take out of this and use every day are going to be amazing. So
make sure to tag me or do a collaborator.
yes, I will. I will. And for those of you that want to get more of Josh, of course, we're going to put all of the information below the podcast here so that you can reach out to him on all of his social media. We'll put all the links so that you can reach out to him. But thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys.
All right. See you next time.